Memorable and dirty cheap shots in recent sports history. Welcome to Endless Sports. Subscribe now so you never miss out on any of the greatest facts about sports and the latest trending sports news. Let's get into the video. Memorable and dirty cheap shots in recent sports history. In Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, Steve Adams fouled Draymond Green, and then Draymond Green fouled Steve Adams. But while it was the former that was called on the floor, it's the latter that sent shockwaves in more ways than one around the sports world. That's because after Adams contacted Green, Green conveniently flailed his leg into Adams' groin and was assessed a flagrant 1 upon further review. In light of the cheap shot, this list contains 11 of the dirtiest plays in recent sports history. It's often said that beauty is pain. Well, on this list, pain is pain. That's it. Mike Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear. It's been almost 20 years since people first heard about this controversial event, and it's still nearly impossible to comprehend. During a June 1997 bout with Holyfield, Tyson bit Holyfield's ears not once, but twice. He was disqualified for his actions following his second chomp, and a piece of his opponent's ear was actually found inside of the ring following the fight. Tyson later claimed he went after Holyfield's ears because Holyfield was headbutting him throughout the match. You know what they say, fighting cheap shot with cheap shot. 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞 steps on Aaron Rodgers, among many others. Sometimes it feels like listing the plays that involve Sue and weren't dirty would be easier than listing the ones that were. There's the time he Draymond Greened Matt Schaub, or the time he stomped on Evan Dietrich Smith, or the time he kicked Alfred Morris's helmet off, or the time he mangled Andy Dalton in a preseason game, and so on. But one of the worst was when he sunk his cleat into Aaron Rodgers' ankle in the 2014 regular season finale while he was on the Lions. The 15-yard penalty should be named after the defensive lineman. Luis Suarez and his active teeth. Remember that time Suarez bit an opponent in 2010? Then remember that time Suarez bit an opponent in 2013? And then remember that time Suarez bit an opponent in 2014? The talented striker actually has an entire Wikipedia page devoted to describing the controversies he's participated in. Even Mike Tyson can't believe Suarez's insistence on sinking his teeth into other players. Todd Bertuzzi attacks Steve Moore. While with the Canucks, Bertuzzi was responsible for one of the ugliest incidents in the history of the NHL. During a previous matchup between Bertuzzi's Vancouver side and the Avalanche, Colorado's Steve Moore checked Bertuzzi's teammate Marcus Naslund, a hit that concussed Naslund. So when the two franchises squared off again, Bertuzzi began following Moore around the ice seeking retaliation, and then punched him from behind and drove his head into the ice. As a result of the hit and tackle, Moore fractured 3 vertebrae in his neck, and Bertuzzi was suspended for the rest of the regular season and playoffs. Antonio Brown levels a Browns punter with his foot. Poor Spencer Lanning. All the Browns punter wanted to do during a 2014 contest against the Steelers was tackle the Speedy Brown. But Brown had other ideas, and instead of trying to juke or simply outrun the far less athletic Lanning, he tried to hurdle him, then ended up spearing him in the face with his cleat after not being able to clear him. The Steelers star was handed a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty, and Lanning was handed a reminder as to why punters should never try to do anything other than punt. Grayson Allen sends his opponents on a trip twice. Not that other past and present Duke basketball players needed any help, but Allen is continuing the tradition of making the program hard to like. Over the course of the 2015 season, the guard tripped opponents on 2 separate occasions, and neither of them were that sneaky. Unfortunately for every other NCAA hooper who likes to move on the court without having to worry about when someone's foot will send them tumbling, Allen is returning to the Blue Devils for his junior season. Run with caution, guys. LeGarrette Blount nails Boise State defender post-game. After the first game of his senior season in 2009 at Oregon, Blount chose to forego post-game handshakes with Boise State players for the act's more aggressive cousin, the post-game punch. The year before, the two schools engaged each other in a particularly physical game, which set the tone for a heated rematch in the 2009 opener. The Broncos prevailed, and during the aftermath, defender Brian Hout taunted Blount, who responded by punching Hout and knocking him to the ground. Then head coach Chip Kelly suspended Blount for the remainder of the year, but he was eventually reinstated in November. Albert Haynesworth cleats 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐞's forehead. Forgive Redskins fans who may not know this, but Haynesworth was in fact once passionate about football. That passion went way too far, however, in October 2006, when Haynesworth's Titans were hosting the Cowboys. As Dallas running back Julius Jones was busy celebrating a touchdown, Haynesworth was busy stepping on center 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐞's helmetless head. The defensive tackle did so twice, causing 𝐤𝐬𝐞's face to bleed profusely, a wound that eventually required 30 stitches. The league suspended Haynesworth 5 games for the stomping, a decision that stands as the longest penalty for an in-game event in NFL history. Zinedine Zidane melts down in 2006 World Cup final. Marco Materazzi's apparent insults of Zidane's sister during the France-Italy 2006 World Cup final were certainly a low blow, but it's Zidane's response that'll be remembered forever. The French hero's infamous headbutt in extra time of arguably the most important tournament in sports title match was about as far away from heady, pun intended, as one can get. And it looked even worse after his country fell in penalty kicks. Going by Tyson logic, Materazzi should have tried to bite off a piece of Zidane's ear. And that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed this upload. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for even more great content just like this. Thanks for watching. See you soon in another one.